What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from The Last Corvette. So I wanted to make this video because I'm in automotive and, this is starting to bother me. And we'll actually focus in on, two topics. Number one, customer service that GM offers when people purchase C8 Corvettes. So the sales process, customer service, we'll look at fit and finish, right? The prep. And then, of course, we'll look in the overall quality issues that the big three has across the board and why that is. So we'll start with the C8. So recently, somebody that I personally know, bought themselves their dream vehicle, which is a fully loaded convertible, hardtop convertible C8 Corvette. Amazing, beautiful vehicle. I'm not into C8s, I'm a old school person, but the tech, the power, the layout, the overall design, in those aspects sometimes outperforms, specifically the tech and the options and the features, outperforms any of the exotics and any of the supercars. I mean, this thing is loaded with options and features that are either intended to better the driving experience, could be for racing, track, comfort. It's an amazing. Like, for example, the auto lift suspension, front suspension that you can set up through the GPS and it remembers, so you don't have to worry about pushing buttons, and it does it for you. It's pretty cool stuff. But anyway, from day one when C8s came out in 2020 till about a year ago, dealerships were marking up these vehicles sometimes as much as 50% over sticker. That's insane, right? I know people that bought, base coupes for what a fully loaded, convertible goes for. And speaking of normal buying something at sticker, this person paid $106,000 out the door. That is sticker, obviously, plus sales tax and everything else like that. Obviously, brand new, fully loaded Corvette. But the issue is the sales process and the customer service. Let me explain. The same people selling you the C8 is the same people that will either sell or lease a Chevy Equinox, a Trax, a Blazer, doesn't matter, a Tahoe or a Silverado. You guys start to see the picture. It's just basically in and out, sign on the dotted line, and then from there it's either customer service, Google it, read your manual. There's no that handshake type environment like you get with European sports cars, supercars, exotics. And that's something that I thought GM would actually change and have a dedicated team that runs their Corvettes, quote unquote American supercar, right? Now, also the prep. When the vehicle is prepped, it's the same person that's doing the Chevy Equinox will be doing your Corvette. And it's a shame, specifically when it comes to, plastic still being wedged behind taillights, headlights. Some vehicles are not even fully put together when they get to the dealerships after transport. And then when you do call and you start asking questions, like this gentleman is an older gentleman, right? So they don't know every single option. They don't know every single feature, or sometimes they stumble through when they call their sales guy. They just basically get the cold shoulder. And that is so wrong because let's just face it, they're not going to get any cheaper. He paid $106,000 for this Corvette. It's a beautiful car, but that's a lot of money. Regardless if you're financing, if you're using your savings, it's a lot of money. And with the Z06s being out right now, those are $130,000, $150,000, $160,000. And then with the ZR1 coming out, I'm sure it's going to be, with all the markups, I'm sure it's going to be well into the 200s. And that's where GM is going to cross that line into the supercar, right? Into vehicles that are made by Porsche, are made by Lamborghini and Ferrari. Of course, not the top tier vehicles, but right there. And you better believe that you need to put out great service from the start, from the sale to prep to everything, right? To follow-ups. That's the main reason why if you buy a Porsche or you buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, right? They take you from A to Z. They make sure that you are the center point, right? You are the focal point of this purchase. And that's something that's not happening right now with these C8 Corvettes, right? They deliver it. It's a one-on-one experience. They unveil the vehicle. And prior to that, they make sure that the vehicle is perfect. And let me explain something about perfect. This C8 Corvette, minus the tape and all of the film that was still on the vehicle, had fingerprints. It was detailed poorly. It was prepped poorly. And then, of course, the fit and finish, the gaps, that uneven, let's say, front, which I actually adjusted and fixed. All it is just a simple adjustment of your front rubber bumper, right, on either side, under the front or the hood, whatever you want to call it. Same thing with the trunk. But they just need to step up their game. They need to have a dedicated team that takes care of these vehicles, because people will start walking away. When you start paying $100 plus, $200 plus $1,000, doesn't matter if it's a Corvette or whatever it is, you're expecting to get the service back. You're expecting to get treated right. You just spent a lot of money, in GM dealerships especially. Train your people, have a separate team that runs your Corvette specifically for the prep and finish, making sure that the vehicle is good, and have some kind of a hotline that people can call, especially older people, and figure out the digital mirrors or figure out all of these lift suspension things. And they need to be shown what they're buying, what they're getting, versus just pushing people like they normally do into, get yourself the C8, sign here, see you later, I'm moving on to the next deal, thanks for the commission. So that's just my take on it. Now let's move into the quality. We have everyone, the big three. We have even Asian, European vehicles that are being held back for tech issues, software issues, sometimes even driveline issues, right? Rangers, F-150s, Tahoes, GMC Terrains, all that stuff is sitting on hold lots. And there's a very simple answer as to why. Let me explain. The last 10 years, everyone had very unsuccessful launches when it comes to your new facelifts, your new complete redesigns. The reason is because Big Three was so late, including the rest of the market, was so late to the EV game. They had no choice but to throw their top engineers, designers, electricians, whatever it is, onto these projects to get their EV lineups going. And of course, EVs weren't pushed by the automakers. They were pushed and still being pushed by the government. So they threw billions of dollars. They took their cream of the crop development engineers, R&D engineers, interior, whatever it is, right? Driveline, they put them on EVs, and that put young engineers with less experience, sometimes even out of school, first job experience type of thing, developing and launching these vehicles. And you're seeing basically the fruits of the labor. I'm not saying they're bad, but you can't take away decades, or at least a decade worth of experience, and expect another person to pick up where that person left off. It just doesn't work like that, specifically with brand new models, with brand new, we'll say frame up, ground up vehicles. So you live and you learn. And of course, I'll end it like this. EV market, we all know it's slipping, and I believe there's going to be some backlash when it comes to people losing their jobs. They're focusing in on smaller EVs now. They're focusing on hybrids, going back into gas. But the last news we heard was they were buying into the Tesla's infrastructure. Like I said, they were playing catch up, right? You can't just have all of these electric vehicles without infrastructure for these vehicles to actually run across state lines or across the country. So they bought into the Tesla, and that's only going to make Tesla's infrastructure as a tech company and as an infrastructure company even stronger, because now they have all these contracts with the big three and everyone else, European and Asian, to use their chargers, right? Superchargers. And that was a huge undertaking, right? And the big three knew that they just didn't have the resources to build their infrastructures, or the time. They were just going with the punches, essentially. And of course, you need to understand something is, now that the infrastructure, Tesla's infrastructure, is not only handling Teslas, but also handling everyone else that has adapters, regardless if you drive a Ford, GM, or whatever else, Mercedes, that's fully EV. Now that infrastructure is going to be overloaded, and yes, Tesla, like I said, will make money. They'll widen their infrastructure, but you also have to look at the overall U.S. infrastructure, which is one of the oldest ones in the world, and that's one of the main reasons why it's not working out. It's the price, it's the cost to build vehicles, and it's also how to maintain and charge these vehicles if you're actually going to use them as intended. And the trucks, the SUVs, they're just not there yet. And we'll see how this whole EV market plays out. But yeah, my take on C8 Corvettes and, of course, EVs. Talk to you guys later.